question comes from Michael Gormley at Newsday. Michael, your line is now open. Please unmute your microphone.
Hello, Governor. You said in creating that void, why didn't you tell the public and the press during that period that the federal inquiries were creating the delay? And how do you explain that legislators, including Speaker Hastie, are so surprised about the federal involvement here if everyone knew it? And I'll have one quick follow-up question after that.
Yeah. Well, first, Mike, let's stick with the facts, okay? The fact that we received a Department of Justice request for information was in the newspaper. The fact that we received a Department of Justice request for information on private nursing homes in October was in the newspaper. We learned about it from the newspaper. It was the New York Post wrote that we got a letter before we ever got a letter. By the way, we never even got a letter. We had to call the Department of Justice and ask for a letter. So that was in the newspaper. The staff of the Assembly and the Senate were told that, not just that we were responding to DOJ, because that was in the newspaper, but that we couldn't respond to the state legislative request, or we wouldn't respond to the state legislative request because we were dealing with the DOJ request. The staff was told that. Who the staff told on their staff, I don't know. But, you know, if you tell Rob Mahika something, then he's supposed to tell me. If he doesn't, you still told my staff. So that's what that is. But it's not that we couldn't have responded to other things also. We could have sat here all day and just take questions from people who had a lot of questions. We could have spent more time answering press inquiries who had questions. That's all true. And in retrospect, I'm saying we should have done a better job providing more public information. Now, we're focused on the day-to-day and we're focused on what we're doing, but we should have spent more time focusing on the information request from press, from people, et cetera, because what happened as a result was it created a void. And when you create a void in this world at this time, Mike, something's going to fill that void. And, well, they didn't answer. I wonder why. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe this. Political theories, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. And I'm not even concerned about that, frankly, vis-a-vis. I'm less worried about that with the state legislature, et cetera. I'm more worried about that with the effect on people. What bothers me is people calling up saying, you know, they say the March 25th memo is the reason my father died, that wouldn't have happened otherwise. Those are the people who were hurt by the void. And that was, well, I can say in my defensive mode, I didn't create the disinformation. I didn't create the conspiracy theory. I know, Governor, but you created the void. And when you created the void, you allowed these other theories to fester. That's true. That's true. We had a conversation.
You said earlier, though, that it was.
Go ahead.
You said legislators were told. Now you're saying staff was told. And why didn't you provide that information that the federal probe was slowing things down? Legislators even now say they would have accepted that, but they had never heard that. And then one last question, is there anything that you personally apologize for in this whole process?
Yeah, two things. One, let's be clear, and legislative staff was told by my staff, okay? So legislative staff was told, top legislative staff was told. Second, the DOJ letters were in the newspaper, Mike. There was no secret about the DOJ letters. They were in the newspaper. Staff was told that DOJ was, we were giving DOJ precedence. So we told both houses through the staff. That's communication on a day-to-day basis is how it happens. And the legislators have said the same thing to me, by the way. We understand that if you get a DOJ request, it takes precedence. They've said the same thing to me. They say nobody told them that. I understand. We did tell the houses, and I'm sure there was a breakdown of communication now between the staff in the House and the actual legislators. Because every legislator I talked to said the same thing they said to you. We understand if you have DOJ asking questions, that takes precedence. So they've said the same thing to me. But the DOJ requests were in the newspaper, so that was not news. And the staff of both houses were told, and that's not news. Apologize? Look, I have said repeatedly, we made a mistake in creating the void. We made a mistake in creating the void. When we didn't provide information, it allowed press, people, cynics, politicians to fill the void. When you don't correct disinformation, you allow it to continue. And we created the void not because people weren't working hard, Mike, because you know how hard people were working. And, well, you should have prioritized providing more information. Yes, yes. In retrospect, we should have prioritized providing more information. I get the operational demand. I don't like to second guess my team. They were all working 24 hours a day. You know, remember where this was? You're in the middle of hell during this time. But no excuses, no excuses. We should not have created the void. We should have done a better job in providing information. We should have done a better job of knocking down the disinformation. You'd never knock down all these conspiracy theories, the political conspiracy theories, because they generate 10 a day. But we should have done a better job of providing as much information as we could, as quickly as we could. And we should have done a better job on that. Yes. And no excuses. I accept responsibility for that. I am in charge. I take responsibility. We should have provided more information faster. We were too focused on doing the job and addressing the crisis of the moment, and we did not do a good enough job in providing information. I take total responsibility for that. The pain in it is it created confusion and cynicism and pain for the families of the loved ones. My father didn't die in a nursing home, but my father had a heart ailment for a long period of time. And he looked to me to be helpful to him. And I spoke to doctors, and different doctors had different theories, and he should try this, he should do that, we should send him here, we should send him to Europe. I was responsible to help him. And I often think about if I did everything that I could,